How long have you been? How long's your streak?
Since I've done it?
Yeah.
Less than a year.
Less than a year. My man Kenny shit his pants less than a year ago.
One time.
This man's in his 40s. And he's out here spraying paint in his pants.
Welcome back to the podcast. My name is Kenny. I'm here with my co-host Matt. What's going on, brother?
My name is Matt. I'm going to be 40 in 5 days.
Damn. Welcome to the club, my man.
Bro, 40. Hey, 40-year-old stuff is happening too. 40-year-old stuff is happening too.
Clicks and pops.
And I'm not talking about like clicks and pops. I'm not talking about, you know what I mean? I'm not talking about like getting the prostate checked. Thank God you got to be 44 for that now, right? Because I'm not ready. And I always told myself, I got to let the wife in there first. I'm not going to go in there all hairy knuckles. Doc's not going to be the first one inside me. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not going there.
Got to ungate a bit.
I'm not going in there a virgin. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not
balance it out.
All right. We got off to a wild start. Anyways, that's here nor there, but some 40-year-old stuff is happening. And your boy made my appointment for a vasectomy.
Oh,
March 26th, I have my consultation. It's time to put this old warboat in the harbor and turn it into a restaurant.
I had one scheduled right before COVID hit, and then COVID hit, and it like put it all out of whack. I just never rescheduled it. So
and I told my wife, and she started crying.
Really?
She's like, it's just finishing a chapter, I guess. We're closing a chapter. I was like, I got my 2 kids. Love them.
Yeah, boy, girl.
We don't need a boy, girl, American dream, dog I don't like, all that. We're doing it. Like, it's fine. Like, it's over. Like, I don't want to be a super old dad, right? So I was like, we're calling it quits. But but I always I got this old warboat, and it could still fight if it needs to. Now it's not. Now we're sending it to harbor. We're going to put it in there. It's going to turn into a restaurant on the weekends. It's got barnacles on it. It's kind of banged up. You know what I mean? It's beat up.
We're going to host weddings.
We're going to host weddings sometimes. Like, you're going to put it out there. It's like, it's not going to fight no more. The fights are done. So, yeah, I'm pretty nervous about that. And then some people were like, hey, if you, aren't you nervous about doing that? And there's like hot nurses in the room. My thoughts on that are, hey.
Do they put you out?
No, you're awake. And I have a family member who they let his wife cut him.
What? It's not an umbilical cord, doctor.
Hey, she's like, he got to cut the cord. You get to cut him.
No,
there's a doctor in here in Temec. I don't know who it is. I don't know. I said, I don't know who your doctor is, bro, but I'm not using him. And she said it was like cutting chicken meat.
Oh,
she did it.
This makes you feel so uncomfortable.
He said, and he wasn't cauterized hard enough, so he kind of felt it and he was in pain.
Oh,
yeah. I'm hearing all the.
Can you just imagine screaming, "You bitch!"
He's just like, oh, he's sorry. So I was sweating profusely. So I'm like, anybody who thinks there's just hot nurses in the room and are you worried about seeing hot girls? I'm like, first of all, I'm 40. Okay,
yeah.
It's gonna take more than just hot girls to get this freaking boat out of the moving. Okay, first of all, that's number one. Number two, I'm about to get my shit cut. I'm more scared.
Yeah.
If anything, I'm worried I'll be turtling up. You know what I mean?
Unless you get fear boners. Like
I don't get fear boners. I bet you Ronzilla does. Back in the day, I just used a rake in the garage. I just rolled over the guy I killed and freaking stitched it up myself. But no, so yeah. And then I'll have another buddy who said his went horrible too. And he had tremendous testicular pain for months afterwards. Fuck. And he said, I had to do physical therapy. And I'm like, what kind of physical therapy are you doing to fix your bag? Your bag's hurt. What are you doing?
Stretch it like a bat wing.
And then I don't, Kenny, see, I got the ice bath for you over here if you ever need it. No, will not. But yeah, we're turning 40 over here in 5 days.
Ice bath got an upgrade yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I got a like a insulation kit. The company that makes my ice bath makes an insulation kit for it. I ordered that. It helps keep it colder without the cooler having to run more often.
That's not. I did ice bath when I was doing MMA. When I had a cup of coffee doing MMA, and we'd fill up trash cans.
Yeah,
full of ice water, and we'd jump in them. Thought we were Vanderlei Silva or some shit. We'd jump in them. Fuck that. That shit's cold.
Yeah, it is. It's chilly. It's nipply.
I just don't think. I mean, I guess there's benefits. I'm not saying there's not, but come on, guys. That shit is like, I don't know, man. It is not for me, dude. I don't know. I can't.
How many? What's the goal to get you in an ice bath?
Oh, on the podcast?
Yeah. Film it.
Oh, man. What should the goal be? What did you set the goal?
Do we want it for the IG
picked
or
my
do we
dad.
want
He's
it
all,
for the...
he's all 5 more followers.
What are we at? Get us to 1,600.
If the YouTube gets to 1,000 subscribers, I will. Fuck, what did I do? I'll jump in the ice bath. I guess I just talked about my bag for the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, there you go. 1,000 subs. We're almost at 400. We're at 389 or something.
We get to 1,000 subs on YouTube, I will jump in my ice bath.
There you go.
And cry and scream and not be happy. And you're not going to get no brave face.
How long?
I don't know.
The average is like 3 minutes.
3 minutes is the average?
Yeah.
Well, I guess I got to do that then. But like,
go.
how cold?
45
50?
degrees. 45.
45 is my favorite number.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go. 45 degrees.
45 is my favorite number. 45.
3 minutes. 1,000 subs.
What if I want to get out at 2 minutes and 30 seconds? I'm like, get me out. We'll doctor it. We'll lie. They'll cut that one guy 3 minutes later. And it's me getting out. We'll lie. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. We'll lie. We've only cut one thing from this podcast so far in the 24 episodes.
Yeah.
And
that was a joke.
if you want to know what that joke is, subscribe to the premium. No, I'm just joking. We don't have premium content yet. So what we got today, bro?
We got Ryan Garcia.
Ryan Garcia. Okay.
What the fuck?
Ryan Garcia. What happened to Ryan Garcia? Ryan Garcia is on drugs.
There's been speculations that he's been kidnapped. There's been speculations that he's on like heavy drugs.
Is it like just a ploy, like to get ratings? Like,
no, he seems added. I saw him. He did a podcast. You know that Bobby Altoff chick?
Yeah, he was just weird, taking his shirt off and like.
Yeah. Then I saw another video. I think it was either you or maybe Nate sent it to me where he's punching his bodyguard.
And he's like just going hard on him.
Yeah.
Like,
because I know that was like a thing he kind of went viral for a couple of years ago.
That was like his thing. His thing
Yeah.
was like, I would punch you in the stomach a bunch of times and then I would like dodge this little thing that came back to me. That's like he made it. And then I was like, what happened, man? He went full Britney Spears. He's our Britney.
Dude, he is.
He's our Britney
He's
Spears.
the fight community's Britney.
He's our Britney Spears. He's like, what happened to him? Like, save him.
Somebody needs to put him under conservatorship then. He's
Hey, I have my opinions on Britney Spears because we have some female listeners. My opinion on Britney Spears is this chick's crazy.
Yeah, she's out there.
This is usually the kind of chick I used to date in my 20s.
It's a train wreck.
She does not need to be. Whoever's conserving her money or whatever is
No,
happening
they
to
took
her.
that off. That's when it kind of went wild after
Yeah,
that.
she needs to be.
Yeah.
I'm on the parent side.
Yeah, she's...
This chick is insane. My wife is a Britney fan. It's Britney, bitch.
Yeah.
Fucking, she's all about it, dude. And I'm like, this chick's in Looney Tunes.
My wife got into it for a minute too. The following her and kind of...
Leave her alone. Let her do her thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
man, she's insane.
She's definitely fucking out there. She's Looney Tunes for sure.
But would she be like an F, marry, kill question? Oh, she's getting an F for sure. Just because insanity. That's why. She's crazy.
But doesn't Ryan Garcia live in Vegas too? Maybe it's Vegas. It's turning.
Is it Vegas? Well, we'll find out.
Oh, well, I mean, we're going temporal. We're going for a day.
That's all it takes,
Yeah.
Kenny. All it takes is a day. You're gonna come back with hair and shit. It's gonna be. It's gonna be insane.
How did that happen?
It's gonna be insane. Dude.
Man. So Ryan, I don't know. Maybe if you've got the Ryan Garcia,
did I really just say that I don't want to be a virgin when I see my doctor for my prostate exam? Whew, fuck, we don't cut things here on the podcast. I can't believe I said that. I don't know what's coming out of his mouth sometimes. I get myself in trouble. Matt is a pleasure having class, but talks too much. You're right, Miss Hookting. I got myself into a pickle on this one. Fuck.
Oh my God.
It's not gay if it's with a girl. Damn it. That's it. I don't want, so get out of my DMs, dudes.
My buddy hit me up today and we said something about, he sent me this video. I'll have to send it to you after this. It's a blue belt in a comp.
Mm-hmm.
And this dude
puts his legs behind his head.
Yes.
Hey, man.
Yes.
Unpassable guard.
And he said I would flip him over and just take his back. And then I said I would just put my hand over his mouth and his nose and make it uncomfortable where he can't breathe, where he has to, let go of his arms or his legs in order to. And then he said something like, oh, that's that 10th planet Hillcrest guard or something like that.
Yeah, that's fucking wrong. Tom Blast is like Helio Gracie's rolling over in his grave right now watching this. 100% he is. Secondly, I don't know if he had a belt on, it was really tight. I'd probably try to double underpass him. I'd probably just grab his belt from underneath his legs and then pick him up like a suitcase and just kind of flip him over and put him on his face.
I feel like with his legs up there, I guess you can't, as a blue belt, you can't do any sort of foot lock.
That's impossible. I mean, it's an impossible guard to pass because he's literally licking his taint.
Yeah.
The guy's the guy could see if he
can fold like that, you can't just invert him and you know what I mean? He's
and I guess he's pretty good at jiu-jitsu. So if you're a follower of this podcast, guy with fucking the taint licking ability, comment. But I guess they say he's pretty good at jiu-jitsu is what Tom the Blast was saying on one, because he posted on his Facebook. And he's actually pretty good at jiu-jitsu. He was just doing this at the end of the fight to be funny. I'm that's what I mean,
just fucking with his opponent. That's kind of,
that is not a flex, bro. You're not there's my guy. What is the girl? His girl's in the stand. Look at him. Oh, Matt, you want to look at my prostate? I saw that video last night. I think I was like, wow, that's pretty insane.
Strange.
But yeah, Ryan Garcia. Hey, man, I thought Oscar De La Hoya was crazy.
He's on the same plan, man.
But he's right there.
Right. Way younger too.
The American Mexican boxer.
Yeah.
Is having some issues right now.
I've done drugs before. For all the police that are watching, I've done drugs before.
If you know Kenny's rave photos.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You can tell. No, I'm just joking.
So, that looks like a manic cocaine episode.
Oh, he looks like he's on the show.
Yeah. And I've had friends in the past where I've seen, I had a buddy that owned this insanely massive mansion in Northern California. He was like a real estate agent. And so he made his own hours and whatnot. And he was on a fucking bender one time and I went over to his house. And he was acting very similar to that. I think it was probably day 4 of cocaine and other substances. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's totally when I saw the video. When I saw the interview with the Bobby Althoff chick, I was just like, I recognize those mannerisms. That is somebody that's just fucking on a bender right now, hard. And it was just, if you're going to be famous, you got to have people around you that can bring you back to reality, people you trust that have your best interests in heart. You know what I mean? I genuinely believe that you would never let me go off the rails if this podcast blew the fuck up and we became, famous from it. I don't think you'd ever let me go off the rails.
When? Okay.
Yeah. And same. I don't think that you ever would, but I would never.
Can you imagine me on drugs? Holy crap, I'm already nuts. I already can't keep my mouth shut and say stupid stuff. I'm already regretting the beginning of this podcast.
Matt's never done drugs and Matt's never drank.
No, Matt's done steroids. Let's not get it twisted.
Matt's never done party drugs.
Matt's done, drugs to get jacked, but that's about it.
You ever smoked weed?
Nope.
Really? Damn.
Never. Mm-mm.
I was 21 the first time I smoked weed, so that's
I've
not
only
like
had
a shock.
one energy drink in my life.
Really?
And I was like, these are good. And I better not have any more of these because I'm going to like it. So just keep me with my soy latte coffee, venti iced latte, soy ad shot. We're straight.
Damn. Yeah, we've had some people write into the show recently and are writing through the Instagram, and not necessarily ask like questions like the hey, ask us anything kind of a thing, but kind of like more long
gated, like almost like topics.
Yeah. And
like things they want us to discuss.
Yeah, a couple of them asked me to share. But one of them specifically said like, please keep it anonymous, and I said totally fine. But
no problem, Jeff.
Toxic brown belts and their effects on gym culture. So I'll get into this one. This guy actually said that I could. He's like fucking full send. I don't care. So he wrote. Maybe that's. Oh no! I'm sorry. This was a different person. Here we go. All right. What are your thoughts on upper belts, more specifically brown belts, who train all the time, compete regularly, but have such an entitled and cocky attitude because they're an upper belt that they talk down to teammates, treat teammates like crap, talk bad about others behind their backs, and basically act like they can do no wrong? Would this type of attitude be grounds for holding someone back on promotion to black belt? Do you feel that promoting a brown to black also has to do with your character and how you represent the gym as a whole, not just training skills and number of competitions under your belt?
I think that, I've said that your character is important to me to be part of my lineage.
Oh yeah.
If you're going to own a school under my name or be a black belt under me, I want you to be a good dude. So me personally, that would be a hindrance for me making somebody to a black belt. They could be black belt level. There's brown belts out there that are black belt level. And I'm sure there are places where they could get their black belt, no problem.
I feel like this type of person, I don't know who specifically this is, but let's call this, person X. Person X is like this as a brown belt. I feel like person X is probably like this as a purple belt and maybe even a little bit as a blue belt. Like, I don't think it just came out of nowhere.
Which is hard to believe. It's not hard to believe, but it's hard to fathom because we've said jiu-jitsu weeds out douchebags.
Right.
But everybody's like, well, what about this? Well, like that rare case that it doesn't.
Noah made a point and he said some people are just stubborn and won't give up, meaning they, regardless of if they should have been weeded out or not, they're so stubborn that they'll just keep, it's almost like it's a challenge,
Yeah,
But you would think that at some point in time, that along this brown belt's journey, that maybe the professor would have had a talk with him or whatnot. So this sounds like a gym culture thing.
Like he's been humbled, right? Like
you would think, unless
But what if here's my philosophy. What if the school was a new school,
right?
So everybody,
and he transferred in,
and he was with the white belts, and the school just opened. It's all white belts. Like when I first went to Hendo's, and I was under Poncho, we were all white and blue belts. Mm-hmm. He hardly had any color belts. Right. Now he's got a ton.
Right.
But we were all kind of the same level. There was a couple browns, maybe one or two blacks. But the alpha, the elite were I'm dominating a white belt. I'm dominating a blue belt. I'm dominating. So you never get that humbling experience unless it's your professor.
I have an example of this actually, this exact situation. So when Jason first opened Dedicated, it was all white belts.
Right.
And when I came around, which was about a year later, maybe 6 months after I started, there were some promotions. Some people got some blue. Some people came in with some experience already. I believe Chad had trained at Hendo's for a while, but had only trained to no-gi. So he never got any sort of a promotion. So he kind of got, I wouldn't say fast track, but I think after a year, Jason bumped into blue. And there was a couple other, we've got a guy named Jody, he was in the military, it was in the Marine Corps, and he did some sort of combatives training and whatnot, and had learned judo and some jiu-jitsu and stuff like that. So he had a martial arts background and just kind of took to jiu-jitsu really well. So he promoted. So after a year and a half, it was all whites and blues. That's it. There's probably 5 blue belts, all white belts. Eventually, some higher belts came from other gyms and became a part of the dedicated family. And at first, they were a little aggressive. There was it was where at one point in time I was even like, I don't like rolling with this person because I don't feel safe. I feel like maybe they're holding things a little too long, or they're just like. I had a conversation with Jason about it, and he had other people had also reached out to him about that, and Jason had a conversation with this person, and this person had I'd say within a couple of months, a complete turnaround of their personality, and now they're like an integral part of the gym. I think if the Brown that this person is talking about is like this, I think the coach should have said something already. Professor should have said something already. And if they haven't, then maybe either the professor's unaware of it. Maybe it's a really large school and they just haven't caught it yet, or they don't care, which would be sad.
Sometimes an issue in jiu-jitsu is it's a one-on-one sport.
Yeah.
So you can be a douchebag and not really have any consequence. You're not really affecting your gold medals. You're not affecting anybody, but you do kind of an effect on your teammates.
Yeah. Well, the morale. I think that this is going to tie into something that another person has. It's actually the next kind of topic. It's not really related, but kind of loosely related to this. And I think bad gym culture either is bred by the main professor. If that person's not a good person and there's other good people under them, they just kind of overlook it, or maybe they foster it. Mm-hmm. But also, bad culture can kill a gym. If nothing's ever said to the professor and it goes unknown, goes overlooked, and people just start leaving, and there's nothing really ever said. I think people don't like confrontation. A lot of adults don't like confrontation. So I think that I don't know if it's I don't want to be a tattletale, I don't want to be a snitch, or whatever that mindset is, but they'll walk away from something, not say anything, and then kind of leave the situation so they don't have to deal with it anymore, but it's not rectified. That situation still exists for everybody else that's there and for any new people that come into that fold.
Bad culture can definitely ruin a gym.
Yeah.
Because we've seen there are some top level gyms have had issues where rape allegations and all this stuff. And some of the professors are like world renowned.
Right.
And it's like, maybe they did try to do something to stop it. But and some of these guys have been kicked out of their gyms and stuff, but it's like damage is already done. Right. You kind of know who. I mean, I don't know. I know Kenny, and every week I know him a little better, but I don't know Kenny outside of jiu-jitsu like his wife does, and he doesn't know me like that either. So maybe these black belts only know what they see in class. Right. So it's hard to build a character of somebody because you don't know what they're doing, and they're coming to you and they're paying you for a service. So you're kind of like, I'm teaching them, but you gotta kind of and I'm not a proponent of snitching,
right?
But you can kind of just bring it up to your professor, and be like, hey, so and so, I someone hold these guys. It's kind of making the lower belts feel uncomfortable. Every time this so and so guy comes into training, and we see him walk in, we're like, oh shit, it's gonna be a rough day. You know what I mean? There's MMA fighters that make people feel like this, and we're not gonna get in that ball wax again. But it's kind of which is also okay. So when you have a gym bully, we'll call that, come to the gym, there's also a good part of it. There's also having a good gym bully that's oh shit, this douchebag's here. Right. There's also a good part of it because this is a lesson of why we're taking jiu-jitsu in the first place. Handling your bullies. But you don't want it Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a good to experience it, but let's experience it and move on.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I think I can only, it's hard to really lean into this topic because it's a lot of speculation on my behalf, because I've been fortunate to be in really good gyms. I've been in Poncho's gym. I've been in Drew's gym, 10th Planet. I've been in Jason's gym. Those are the only 3 jiu-jitsu gyms I've been a part of, like in any sort of like long-term basis. So Poncho is such a good-hearted person that I feel like any sign of this toxicity, he would extinguish it quickly.
Oh, like he'll,
And Jason,
I've seen multiple people, sometimes rounds will happen and fights break out afterwards. It's a combat sport. This happens. Sometimes, like, I've seen Poncho kick people out of the gym, suspend people for a couple of weeks. He does whatever he needs to do to rectify the situation. Because when it comes down to it, he's gotten people bringing kids into kid class, and he's got people on their first day. And like, it's a business. You can't have people full on fighting each other after rounds for holding on to submissions too long, or like he'll find the person and stop it. So yeah. So like, yeah, for sure. Like the black belt's got to know what's going on. And for the most part, I think good professors are aware.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you know what's happening.
And if that's the case, then maybe it's time to move on to another school.
If you can't get the situation resolved, which I think like the number one problem would be is like a female and there's like a really aggressive male and he's like being like creepy.
Right.
And like, if the professor can't resolve that situation, your safety is why we're here. You're here to learn how to be safe. If you don't feel safe at the gym you're trying to learn to be safe at, you need to walk.
Yeah. Agreed.
But like I think females have a different standard when it comes to that. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, you're bully. It's good for you. You should stand up to it. No, not if the guy's creeping. Right. The guy's creeping. Fuck that guy and find somewhere else to train, because there are good schools. I guarantee you within 30 minutes from you to an hour, you'll find a better environment.
This kind of rolls into the next topic too, is why is the BJJ community so accepting of shitty behavior from champions and instructors? And so this specifically is from another person that wrote me about it. And they said, I feel like this is too long for a question for the pod, but if you decide to talk about it.
I think BJJ Jiu-Jitsu it's not, I think traditional martial arts is not accepting of it. And I think most people find it refreshing when you see a humble athlete who just takes his wins and
a Bushesha
or whoever. But like Conor McGregor MMA community has built this Ric Flair shock value, your mouth gets you more popular than your skill. And so like and jiu-jitsu is not mainstream.
Right.
There's organizations like PGF and all this stuff trying to make it, but right now it's not. And so the average person doesn't watch jiu-jitsu. So what are you going to do to help build it? You got to like make it like personal or a fight or like, look at me and this, you know what I mean? Like when you don't need that.
Right. You're doing the Gordon Ryan thing, play the heel aspect of it. He just happens to be able to back it up.
The problem is Gordon Ryan's not a heel on purpose. Gordon Ryan just defends himself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People talk shit on Gordon Ryan, he'll come at your ass.
Yeah.
You don't, he's like saying the boogeyman.
Right.
Or Candyman.
Yeah.
You say Candyman 3 times, he's going to come in your DMs or he's going to blast you out on social media and you're fucked. Don't say it. We said his name twice. We can't say it again, Kenny. He'll be up here on the podcast.
Well, so I know that I know that Gordon comes from the Tom DeBlas side of things. I
yeah, they're Henzo Gracie Academy, Blue Basement. Yep.
Right. So, and following Tom DeBlas, you see he's very active in calling people out, and I think in a good way. I think Tom does it respectfully and well. But he's I feel like maybe Gordon has some of that. Like obviously these men have spent a lot of time with each other, and Tom, in that black belt role as Gordon's coming up, is probably a role model of sorts.
Right.
And they're both, I believe, from Jersey.
Right.
And there's a whole kind of Jersey East Coast mindset that if you don't know anybody from there, never lived there, you kind of want to understand it. But I feel like that's a part of it as well. And
they're complete opposites when it comes to personality, though.
I think now though, because Tom even says, he said it recently in post where, you know, years ago, I would act very differently on this. I'd be more aggressive.
You know, he's a man of God, and now he's got a new faith. So Tom's very about the anti-bullying,
Right.
and all this great stuff. So that, you know, changes his look
Right.
on how he views the world. But he also doesn't judge people for how they view the world.
Right.
Which
And
is, which is I find refreshing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think like you mentioned earlier too, I don't think Gordon's out there just attacking people out of nowhere. I think he's just kind of defending himself.
But look at, you see Nicholas Marigali, right? Stud.
Yeah.
Good and gi and no gi now. But he's kind of known for having a bad attitude, flipping people off with the triangle on and all this. You know what I mean? The Nick Diaz approach.
Right.
And why he got popular from that, even though he got DQ'd for the Worlds or wherever it was that happened.
Oh, no shit. Like
he got,
IBJJF
yeah, they DQ'd him. He locked the triangle and threw the bird up. But like, even though that happened, he got more pub by doing that.
Yeah.
And that's just social media trying to find something to build jiu-jitsu. But like, where are the freaking, like guys like GSP and the humble guys, you know, Galval, all those guys are great, but like no one knows who they are because they don't pick fights.
Right.
So that's the problem. I don't think the jiu-jitsu community is accepting it, but like, we kind of got to do it right now to grow it.
You know,
like we got to grow it. So we need someone to like be viral.
Not to shit on women's sports, but do you know that like how they always say like, oh, you know, the disparity between the popularity of women's sports and men's sports is because men won't allow women's sports to grow. But then like you look at statistics and it's like, you got to support your own. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if the WNBA isn't growing because women don't watch the WNBA. You know what I mean?
That, and I just feel like I gotta watch what I say here. I feel like,
well, if what I'm getting at is if you want jiu-jitsu to grow and you don't want to do it the dirty route where you have to go and do things to get attention, because there's always there's no such thing as bad publicity. You know what I mean? Like as long as you've got eyes on you, that's good.
They got to change the game.
Right.
So to me, like, if you want your sport to be better than the male sport, let's not exactly be like that. The only thing difference between a male and a women's sport is the basketball is a little lighter. Let's make the court a little shorter. Isn't the hoop lower? I don't think so.
I think it's
10. No, I think it's 10 too.
Oh.
Pretty sure it's the same. It's just the basketball's a little smaller.
The 3-point line's moved into.
Maybe. Yeah, it's college length.
Yeah.
It's not pro length. But like, let's change the game. Let's make the court a little smaller. Let's lower the hoop a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, same thing with, I think Invicta kind of had it right back in the day. I don't even know if that's still going on.
I don't think so.
But like, let's make the cage smaller.
Right.
Let's like, why are we going to have these little breaking news? I like fake pro wrestling. Okay. A lot of things are coming out about Matt in this podcast. I'm going to be 40. Let's let it all out. I've been watching
his skin, folks.
I've been watching it since I was 5 years old. Anything combat. It doesn't matter if it's a movie, it's real shit, it's fake, whatever. I watch it. Why is the women's wrestling not as good as the male's wrestling? Because they're all 5'4",
right? And
they're running around this ring, and it takes them 10 minutes to get to one side to the other. It looks funny. Yeah. There should be a smaller ring, and it should be like, so they can do the stuff. Right. Like, you got to change the game to your attributes. Like, if your average height of your player is 5'6" in the WNBA or 5'8", you shouldn't be playing in a 94-foot court.
What I'm getting,
I don't know if that's
what I'm getting to as far as if you want jiu-jitsu to grow, like if you are into jiu-jitsu and you want jiu-jitsu to grow, you have to support jiu-jitsu. You got to support jiu-jitsu brands. You got to support, jiu-jitsu events. Watch them. Watch the Fight Pass stuff. Watch the stuff on Flow. Watch PGF on YouTube. Like, the numbers are what fuel the algorithm. The algorithm watching it grow is what puts money into the sport. Putting money into the sport is what's going to cause it to get bigger and better and move this into a direction where these athletes are getting paid. And you're going to see right now, you're only getting the guys that are like the guys that are the best in the world. They're the guys that are obsessed with jiu-jitsu.
But there's women like that. And I think jiu-jitsu is one of the few sports where women are doing what men are doing.
Yeah. No, I'm not comparing this no longer to like what I was saying about women's sports is women's sports isn't growing because women don't support it. So if you want jiu-jitsu to grow, in order for jiu-jitsu to grow, jiu-jitsu people need to support it.
Right. But like the only women who don't train jiu-jitsu and support jiu-jitsu are the moms of the sons or the daughters who train jiu-jitsu. So like, it's not like, how do we get jiu-jitsu, which these women are great at, and even MMA, like girls like Ronda Rousey and stuff, they put asses in the seats. Like MMA is one of the few sports in jiu-jitsu where the girls are just as technical, just as violent, just as good as the guys. How do we get the normal girl
to want
to watch Brazilian jiu-jitsu? It's kind of a hard sport to watch. It really is. Right. I mean, even, as much as we love it,
I wouldn't even say just the normal girl. I would say just in general. How do you get normal people to want to watch?
You got to get Taylor Swift in a gi.
I think the issue that we're running into here is that, okay, like the only people that are watching jiu-jitsu right now, or like, let's say the only people that are led to the sport, the people that, whatever causes you to be drawn to jiu-jitsu, I can't even explain it to myself. I do it, but you're not. When you're in elementary school, there's basketball courts and there's a baseball diamond. And for PE, you play different sports. You play tennis, you play this, you play that. You're introduced to these things at a young age.
Right.
And in high school, you've got that. I think about junior high, they start wrestling and stuff like that. So that's where you get these kids interested at a young age. And there's money involved, but not $150 a month tuition or something like that. You know what I mean? Like you really got to want to be into jiu-jitsu to go that route. I think it needs to be, it's already a difficult sport to follow because it's so technical that the younger you're able to get kids into it to where they understand it, the better you've got a chance at the
make
sport
it a
growing.
Normal thing.
Right. And then when you got these, you look at like the super athlete DNA, you know what I mean? Like, you've got, they go to large professional sports.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's no LeBron James level athletic people in jiu-jitsu.
Right. I mean, Buchecha, 6'4", God, built like chisel.
But he comes from a country where.
Right. Do you think in 50 years, jiu-jitsu will be mainstream, making big money? If Gordon Ryan is a 7-figure a year guy, there's only one, really, right? It's him. Obviously, there are going to be more. But like, will it be so good where they're like, dude, like, because same thing's happening with kickboxing. Why isn't kickboxing? Right. If you're like, well, the knockouts, like there's tons of knockouts in kickboxing.
Right.
But why doesn't kickboxing? No one wants to watch just pure kickboxing on TV. There used to be ESPN2 kickboxing and late at night. I'm like, this shit's trash. Boom, turn it off. Munsters.
Right. I don't get that either because I find kickboxing way more entertaining than like straight boxing.
And but you just don't want to watch it. I don't know what it is, and I don't know why, but like jiu-jitsu should have more eyeballs on it. Women's jiu-jitsu should have more eyeballs on it.
Right. I think it's cool that organizations like One are throwing these all jiu-jitsu cards in the middle of like an MMA card. Or not jiu-jitsu cards, but jiu-jitsu matches. They'll do like a Ruto Brothers grappling match or whatever.
That I like the mix. I do.
I think it's cool too that UFC seems to be doing more frequent Fight Pass invitationals. But I feel like it's a lot of just B team versus everybody else. I feel like there's B team on every card.
Well, again, they have good mouthpieces.
Right.
They got the skills too, but like Craig Jones and Nicky Rod, like those guys are vocal pieces in the sport, and they're going to bring eyeballs.
Right. They're marketing themselves well.
Don't want to see freaking Rick versus fucking Jeff. I'm just picking on Jeff last couple weeks, but whatever. I don't want to see Rick versus Jeff. I don't know who Jeff is. I don't know who Rick is. I don't even know their games. I don't know what they're going to do.
Right.
I know who Nicky Rod is. I know him and Gordon used to train. There's a story there. So I think maybe building stories.
Yeah.
And like backstories of these guys, which I think UFC did a great job with. I think that's the key. Like, I think if a jiu-jitsu organization got together, maybe PGF will do this. I think BMAX said they're trying, right?
Right.
You get your stable of athletes. And I want to learn about these athletes. I want to know their dog. I want to know their grandma. I want to know this guy had a hardship growing up. I want to know his story. I want to know this guy's story. I want to know, like, they used to train each other back in the day, and now they don't. Now they don't like each other. Like, I need to have a story, just like when you're watching adult content. I need to know. I don't like just to get right to it because I don't know. Then I have no interest. Build me up, baby. I want fire me up. Let's put some gasoline on this fire before it ignites. I need to see. You know what I mean? I think that's it. We need to build storylines. We need to know these athletes. I know that Mackenzie Dern is great at jiu-jitsu, but I also know that, and I know she's very attractive, but if I just knew that I don't want to watch her. But I know her dad is Megaton Diaz. Right. I know she's been training since she's a little girl. We kind of learned all this stuff about her. So then it's like, wow, I know who she is. Right. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I think that's one of the things that, and we talked about this in the BMAC podcast, one of the things that the UFC has done super well, and he brought it up, is the UFC is not a seasonal sport. It runs year round. So they have 365 days a year, and they release all kinds of content in regards to the undisputed, just interviews from fighters in between. The fighters take it upon themselves. And I don't know if the UFC's got a marketing team that says, hey, you need to get on Twitter. You need to run your mouth a little bit. But I think the fighters are kind of running with that.
Well, they know if they want to get on the card.
Right. So they're developing these own, like some of my favorite, like the John Jones Cormier beef. It was real. There was
for sure.
There was some genuine disdain between those two guys where you got invested in it and you picked a side, you know?
Yeah.
And Cowboy, you know, he's a relatable guy.
Oh, this Cowboy guy, he fights everybody. I remember watching him back when he was on the Tap Out show with Mask and all those guys. He fights anybody, 7 days notice. He shouldn't take this fight. But guess what?
He's there and he's
going to take it anyways. Yeah. He has a title shot in the waitings, but he's going to take this fight on 2 days notice and lose and ruin his title shot. But that's what Cowboy does. Right. And his grandma is at this fight. And all this, we knew all this backstory.
Right.
And that's why we love him.
I thought it was cool too. They started to build the Cody Garbrandt lore, and he had that kid that beat cancer and it was coming to his fights and stuff like that. Like,
and he used to train alpha male.
Right.
And then freaking
and then the TJ
all that. That's what we need.
Yeah.
So that's why everybody, if there's one jiu-jitsu match you want to see, it's a Craig Jones versus Gordon again, or it's a Nicky Rod versus Gordon again. That's why it's just so much beef, because they used to train with each other. They used to be on the same team. Then they split, and you know what I mean.
That might have been unknowingly one of the best things for the sport of jiu-jitsu to happen in a long time.
If they said PGF main event of the season or UFC, whatever.
Right.
Nicky Rod versus Gordon Ryan, $15 pay-per-view. People were buying it.
Yeah.
People were buying it. Yeah. Like I want to see it. They don't like each other.
I hope that through the PGF.
Hopefully there's off season where we can get to know the fighters.
Right.
Like, okay.
Right.
Like we want to sign you to a PGF deal. I don't know if this is going to happen, but we want to sign you to, we don't know much. We're just invited and we're excited about it. I want to sign you up for this season 7. You're on season 7, but you're also locked in till season 9. Right. And then, so you're locked in for 3 years.
We're going to build your character.
And so there's going to be a PGS off season where I'm going to have a crew with you. You're going to post, you're going to this, we're going to share your story. We're going to build your backstory. I want to meet your mom. I want to boom. And so we can learn the guys on the roster. So when you do come back season 8, I kind of know who this guy with a mullet and his tattoos is.
I don't watch much professional sports outside of jiu-jitsu and MMA. I'm a Raiders fan. My team sucks, and they've sucked since I was a child.
Mm-hmm. Same.
But
I'm also a Yankees fan.
So I don't watch a lot of football. That being said, some of the best pieces of content I've ever seen have been the off-season NFL kind of like training camp footage that, coaches talking in the locker room, things like that. Like the NFL does a phenomenal job at putting these like little mini docs together and whatnot about people.
Yeah. And they also have the money.
Right.
And that's what it costs.
Right.
So it all comes down to it. But yeah, definitely. I think we just need to know these fighters more, whether it's women or not. We need a backstory. Even if it was WNBA, let me know.
Did you ever get into, there's a dude on YouTube. He's been on Rogan a couple of times. I think his YouTube channel is something like Anatomy of a Fighter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Will something.
Yeah, he does good docs too.
Yeah. And he did an O'Malley one, and he talked about it on Rogan. He shot that in like a day. He flew to Phoenix, got there like at the ass crack of dawn. Like his flight was a 5 a.m. flight. He met up with O'Malley super early, went to training, spent the afternoon with him, went to lunch with him, went to dinner with him, spent the evening with him. And he put together this like 30-minute O'Malley doc about like just the everyday life of O'Malley, like how he trains, what he does on the day-to-day basis. And he filmed it in a day, and it was phenomenal. But something like that, if you could do that look at these guys that are like, on B team, but that don't have the shine because they don't have the beef with Gordon. J-Rod, Nicky Rod's little brother.
Funny.
Dude, and he's a fucking beast. And he's only been training a couple of years. He started training after Nicky Rod.
Yeah.
And he's already at this, top level. Do a mini doc on that guy. Do a mini doc on, I think everybody knows who Craig Jones is, but he's fucking hilarious. And I watch pods and whatnot with him every once in a while. And he seems like it'd be an absolute riot to just like hang out with.
And the thing about Craig Jones is his jiu-jitsu is better than his comedy.
Right. Right. And then how did he get so good? Like he wasn't always a Danaher guy. You know what I mean? He was training in Australia. Where it's like this, it's a large country. It's the size of the United States, but it has the population of Los Angeles County.
Like literally, I just know of him and Kit Dale
as
like the pure grapplers from Australia.
So how do you get that good if you don't, the iron sharpens iron? There's got to be people there that are close to that level that we just don't know about.
All these top tier guys have stories of elite, like sleeping in gyms, eating, not eating, living in the dojo.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's all we all learn. Like that's what we need. We need backstory on fighters. That's the number one thing about jiu-jitsu. I just figured it out. The number one thing to help jiu-jitsu grow is backstory on fighters.
Yeah.
And, look at that. Why is, first of all, because of you guys. But secondly, why is our podcast growing? Because people are starting a little bit of backstory on me and on you. Mm-hmm. And like, they're starting to figure it out, It's
what makes it relatable.
Right.
It's that connection to your viewer.
It's like you're getting inside jokes. We're learning this. It starts to grow naturally.
Right.
Jiu-jitsu is like one tournament. Like, what the season format is great. Right. But it's one tournament in regular jiu-jitsu, then it's over. Like, who's that guy who Gordon beat in 10 seconds? I don't know. But if I would have known that, like, did you know he adopted his brother when he was 6 and they freaking lived in a car for 4, whatever, right? Then it would have been like, dude, I want to see this guy win.
Right.
And like, and then I'm going to follow him.
You got to have a reason to root. Otherwise, by default, people like being winners. And by default, they will root for the winner in general.
Right.
So everybody loves an underdog story. And in order to have an underdog story, you have to have a little bit of you got to know who the underdog is.
Right.
So if it's not clearly defined and you have no backstory, then, what are you following? It's like, if I were to throw on an IBJJF tournament right now and we were to watch an entire bracket, a heavyweight, fucking adult bracket, black belt from start to finish, we might recognize a name or two, but did we really know anything about these athletes other than it tells me that I know that they're roughly in this age range. I know they're a black belt, and it tells me their affiliation that they're from. And that's about all I know.
It's your job to get yourself over in the world, in the professional wrestling. That's the thing. It's like, you want to get over, get yourself over.
Right.
But if there was wrestling also helps guys get over by teaching them how to promo school and teaching them this and teaching them how to present themselves and taking your personality to the next level. Like,
well, that's the thing. You got to build a character.
Am I like this? Look, am I very eccentric on the podcast or on my social media, like cracking jokes and talking crazy? Yes. Am I really like this at home? Kinda, but like it's like very like I have
down.
some zingers here, but like I'm just chilling with the kids playing Mario Party. Like I'm not like, you know, talking about knuckle deep and like I do this because I'm trying to be entertaining, and you got to teach these guys.
Yeah,
like, and I'm not saying I'm an expert at it, but like I try to be Matt times 10 a little bit.
Yeah,
when I'm boom,
just
you know what I mean?
amplify the volume.
Amplify everything, right?
Yeah.
So like you got to be able to like teach these guys to like. So we need a jiu-jitsu company or jiu-jitsu organization to like help these guys. And I think PGF is going to do that because I kind of heard what he was saying. And then now you have guys like Zoltan on board. And guess what is Zoltan? He's a world-class entertainer.
Right.
And that's only going to help.
Right.
So
yeah, you've got somebody on board that knows how to get a crowd reaction.
Right.
Knows how to develop a following. Yeah.
So
I'm excited.
So that's why the community is accepting of douchebags. There's a long-winded answer.
I think a lot of it just goes into the radar.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I mean, how much do you know about your favorite jiu-jitsu athlete? So how do you know if he's a bad person or not? You know?
You think John Danaher and Gordon Ryan have anything in common besides jiu-jitsu? No.
Yeah.
Do you think John Danaher, who was already kind of popular with GSP and those guys,
right?
But you think he'd be as popular as he is now if he didn't have Gordon Ryan?
No.
Do you think Gordon Ryan would be as popular? Like, look, I think he would be just kind of like Buchecha popularity if he didn't put the crown on and say I'm King Gordon and this is how many I've won, this is how many I've lost, no one's beat me this many times, and kind of created this. Right. I guarantee you, in his regular life, Gordon Ryan is not the king.
Right.
Like he says he is. He's himself times a little bit.
Yeah. It's like I don't want to say an alter ego, but a personality you put on for show.
What else we got? Questions? We'll get into the next. That went long. We'll get into the next ones on the next podcast.
Yeah. Let's do one question and then we can. Here we go. Oh, it's the story.
Well, fuck it. Let's get to it then. Let's do the story.
All right. So a friend of ours sent us this Reddit clip, screenshot.
It's fucking insanity.
Of a man telling a story about a jiu-jitsu tournament.
We're talking a lot about anus this episode, dude.
We're going to read this to you.
BJJ Balance episode 20, whatever. Anus. Anus adventures.
While I was choked out on the mats as a white belt, I pooped myself. Oh, fuck. My distraught girlfriend at the time was comforted by a handsome, toned, olive-skinned black belt named Roberto. After I came to, the tournament was halted for 45 minutes due to the fact that due to the smell of poop, the cleaning of the mats, and the need to reshuffle the tournament since one of the 8 mats that was used was now deemed unusable.
Oh, wow. He went out the gi? Or was he doing no gi?
It sounds like it went through because he says after washing out as much of the poop stains from my white gi pants as possible in the men's restroom sink, I looked for my girl and found her sitting with Roberto, sharing an acai and smiling with a shine on her face that was far brighter than she had ever showed towards me. I go up to their table and say her name, and she looks at me and then looks away. I see the peanut butter in her acai bowl, and a sickening feeling comes over me. I stand there for a few seconds and felt like an eternity and walk away, get in my car, drive home with the radio off and the windows down since I didn't want my gi-stained pants to leave a lingering odor in the car.
Drove home like Ace Ventura. Look at...
Throw the gi pants away.
First of all, Roberto has cash. You might have had acai bowl. The acai bowls are like $77.
And you get a scoop of peanut butter in there and it's like 85.
Dude, it's a lot. You got to take a loan out to get an acai bowl at a tournament. I don't know. Hey, guys, what is that? Like inflation? Acai bowl's been expensive since beginning of time. This is obviously not true. You pooped on the I've seen
Is
guys.
this like BJJ fan fiction?
It's gotta be, dude. It's gotta be like, let's sit this wild story. Like, first of all, if it is true, bro, and you shit yourself on the mats, I'm sure it's happened before. But that's wild, bro. You got choked. So you died?
You choked out.
Did you
shit
die?
yourself?
Because I know when you die, you shit yourself. And then he came back to. She thought you were dead, bro.
She was moving on.
She was on, dude. Yeah. She's like, you died, bro. You shit yourself. It was over.
She was gonna mourn, but then you shit yourself, so she was on to the next.
She came in your fucking nice car, and she left in a probably freaking Nissan Almeida that some black belt named Roberto owns, and it's squealy wheels and shit. But it doesn't matter. He's a black belt, and he's got great skin, and he's probably got abs. So yeah, that sucks, dude. That's a wild story. I cannot believe that story. That story is not true. But I do kind of believe the bathrooms though.
Oh yeah,
You don't. Jiu-jitsu bathrooms are fucking disgusting.
No, that was that IBJJF was my first like tournament bathroom experience, and I
wait till you go to another one. It doesn't matter which one, dude. They're disgusting, bro.
Yeah,
they're disgusting. Wild. I don't know what it is, dude. Any questions? Let's see. Wow, this kind of fits.
Wendy the Barber asks, have you ever trusted a fart while rolling and had an unfortunate outcome?
I have. When I do accidentally pass gas, man, here's more about Matt. When I do accidentally pass gas when rolling, I just say secret weapon. That's what I. That's what I yell. That's what I yell when I pass gas. It's a sure for a giggle. That happened to me when I was blue belt, and the dude had a triangle on too. Brutal, dude. But when I was a blue belt, a white belt. I was a white belt, and that happened to me. And my boy James Cordery from back in the day, he put a triangle on me and freaking farted on purpose.
Oh, that is foul.
And he saw secret weapon, and I was like, "Fucker!" And it was like,
"Oh my god,
yeah, very foul." But
are you dry heaving?
But so now, anytime that happens to me, I'm like, "Whoa, bro! Like, my bad. I feel bad." You just gotta say secret weapon. Some farts happen, bro. Like I got to fart every week.
I've never. I had this. I've told my wife this. My wife works in a barbershop, hence Wendy the Barber.
Mm-hmm.
And so she works in a barbershop with a bunch of dudes, and there's just dude talk all day. And years ago, we've been dating a couple of years. She comes home and she tells me about this conversation they had at the barbershop about dudes shitting themselves. And I looked at her in the face and I'm like, yeah, like, of course, you know, it's not a question of has a man ever shit himself as an adult? It's when you shit your pants, what happened? Because they've all done it.
How long have you been? How long's your streak?
Since I've done it?
Yeah.
Less than a year.
Less than a year. My man Kenny shit his pants less than a year ago.
One time,
this man's in his 40s, and he's out here spraying paint in his pants.
Right. One time, I came home from work.
That's our open.
One time, I came home from work, and I'm taking my work clothes off, and my wife's in the room, and she's looking at me, and I took my pants off, and all I had was the waistband for my underwear. And she's like, what the fuck is going on? And I said, well, I farted at work, shit my pants, couldn't clean it up. So I ripped the underwear off, but I couldn't rip the waist. And I didn't want to take my clothes off in the bathroom at work. So I just ripped the underwear off and threw them in the trash, and I left the waistband on. Oh. And she's like, what the fuck? So,
oh man.
As an adult, I've probably shit my pants 4 times.
I've done it a couple, maybe once. Actually, one time. I really had a problem. I was really, really sick. I had like this cough, right? And it was just like really annoying. I couldn't get rid of it for weeks. And my daughter was like 2. So this was like 5 years ago. But I also had like a little stomach ache that day. And so like I was putting her in her car seat and I'm reaching over, buckling her in, and I cough.
And it came out.
And I was like, uh-oh. And then like I was like, oh no. And then she's like, what's wrong, Daddy? It's like, we gotta go back inside. Your boy blasted himself. Another story. Now I'm glad that we're like, well, you guys are getting a little extra today. You know what I mean? But I'm glad this is late in the podcast because we've already learned a lot about Matt today because he's going to be 40. This is a story. if we all know, job by trade, your boy is a package delivery boy. Been for almost 20 something years. I'm on this route where I'm delivering, and your boy has to do a number 2. It's real serious. I had Carl's Jr. for lunch that day. So I had
Did you have route bathrooms? Did you have like spots that, like
you do, but this was kind of like a suburbia.
Okay.
So it's kind of like you're not going to knock on someone's door like, hey, can I use your...
No.
So you have to like drive to like the next freaking business and try. And I was like, so I was in an area where it's like, this is not happening for me today. Like, I was like, I would drive, had to stand up, and I'd be like standing up like, uh-oh. Like I couldn't make it. Like, and so I told myself, I said, listen, self, we got to make something happen here. You're going to go. Every 10 seconds, I'm having to stop the truck and stand up because I'm having problems. So I'm looking around. Like, there's nowhere. I was like, I cannot make this happen. I look at my Carl's Jr. cup. I'm thinking, so I go in the back of the truck. I shut the door. I cupped it.
No.
Your boy.
Matt, you shit into a cup, bro?
I shit into a Carl's Jr. cup.
Bro. No.
We're canceled, dude. This is it. This has been a great podcast. So I was like, oh,
what'd you wipe with?
Listen. So I'm like, okay, it's out. All right. Thank God. I put the lid back on it. Littered. Sorry. Oh, Captain Planet.
Where did you throw
a
trash can, I hope?
No, I was in suburbia.
You just left it on someone's... Bro, there's a shit cup. Matt has a cup of shit.
He called the shit poop. So, hey, I'm not proud about this.
Yeah.
I was like 24.
Oh
hey,
my
it's not one of the best moments of my life, but like it's happened.
Oh man, I did some fucked up shit in my day, but I've never shit in a cup and left it on someone's fucking...
I was like, thank God. Hey, thank God it was like a firm one. You know what I mean? So we're here.
So a log.
Yeah.
Okay,
so like,
you weren't spray farting into
No, it wasn't like soft serve. Like we just dropped it in there, right? Like so. Anyways,
can you imagine being the guy that picks that shit up and is like, "Oh, someone left their cup in here. This doesn't feel like water."
Hey,
oh, what the fuck?
Hey, it was on.
It pops the lid open.
It was on Kenny. It was on ice.
So they got a log with a side of shit water.
So
dope.
Long story long, your boy I finished the route. Why? Because I'm a big game player. That's why. I finished the route, and I now only have. I had 6 UPS socks because we have to wear the brown socks. I have 5. I now have 5. A sock will get you out of trouble. And on that note, I want to thank you guys for listening to the podcast. All your guys' support has helped tremendously. The Instagram is growing at BJJ Balance. At Os Nation is on fucking fire right now. 14 million accounts viewed in the last 30 days. I don't know what the hell happened. I don't know. Wild. The shadow ban is over. Whatever.
It was like 2 million.
Yeah,
like
I'm always around 2 million, 3 million. At 14 million right now this morning.
Wow.
Crazy. Thank you guys. You guys are fucking awesome for that. At Freak Party BJJ, let's get Kenny to 1,000 followers. He deserves it. He's a great dude and he's funny. Follow us on that. YouTube. What's the comment? What's it gonna be?
Shit cup. No,
no,
too late in the pod. People won't.
No, it's too late in the pod. Happy birthday. That's what we'll happy birthday,
Matt.
Happy birthday in the freak.
There you go.
Comment happy birthday. Again, thanks for the YouTube love, all the shares, the likes, the follows. Still waiting for Kenny to post something on TikTok. I'll post some on my Os Nation TikTok. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys. We're going to Vegas soon. Also, happy St. Patty's Day. I hope this one was gold for you. I'll catch you guys around. Os.